381-3811. Now Bill Barr is getting the Mark Levin treatment, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen. Me as an old chief of staff to an attorney general of the United States, Bill Barr as a two-time attorney general of the United States. We don't know anything, you see. We don't know what we're talking about. We're conspiracy nuts. We're all in the tank, don't you know? Don Lemon knows everything. Chris Cuomo, Jake Tapper, Chris Matthews, Al Sharpton. They're the experts. And all the Democrats on these committees, they're the experts. This will go down in history as a shameful, shameful period. But Bill Barr has underscored what we've already known, and it's good that he is, and he's going to look into it. But they're going to try and stop him. They're going to try and stop him. It's like they're very concerned about separating children from their parents, but infanticide, they're all for. They're very concerned about separating children from their parents, but it started under Obama. That's a fact. They never said a damn thing. They're very concerned about separating children from their parents, but they love Franklin Roosevelt, who separated Japanese Americans from other Americans with internment camps for the first time in American history. Oh, okay, we'll overlook that. He was a great progressive. This is what we're dealing with. And we fight back. We don't roll over for it. Senator Brian Schatz, a word I'd like to play with, but not on the air. He's at this budget hearing, and he can't believe what he heard. So he's trying to encourage the Attorney General to rephrase. Cut 6, go.
Do you want to rephrase what you're doing? Because I think the word spying could cause everybody in the cable news ecosystem to freak out. And I think it's necessary for you to be precise with your language here. You normally are.
Isn't this amazing? It's an oversight hearing on the budget. But he wants him to rephrase so cable news, meaning Fox, meaning me in particular, don't freak out. Not freaking out. This is a serious matter. We've seen this before in this country, and we've seen the media play patsy for the Democrats before when this sort of thing has taken place. Go ahead.
Chance to be especially precise here.
I'm not sure of all the connotations of that word that you're referring to, but, unauthorized surveillance. I want to make sure there was no unauthorized surveillance.
Okay, thank you.
Is that more appropriate in your mind?
This is your call. I really did want to give you a chance to say it how you wanted to say it and make sure that you didn't.
No. He wanted him to back out. He wanted him to say, oops, I made a mistake. But he didn't. He underscored, okay, I won't say spy. How about unauthorized surveillance? Jerry Moran, Republican, Kansas, the chairman of this committee. He gets into it. Cut 7, go.
I want to go back to something you said in your testimony that you've indicated that there's the possibility that unauthorized surveillance or spying occurred. And my question is maybe twofold. My question is, what is the basis for reaching that conclusion or a belief that something like that occurred? And what are the consequences for those who committed unauthorized surveillance?
Did you say that I said that it occurred?
You indicated, I think I tried to at least reflect on what your quote was, that you thought spying on a political campaign occurred in the course of an intelligence agency's investigation into Russian interference in 2016.
Well, I thought the question was, did I have any basis for saying?
And I'm now asking what the basis is or what the facts are that lead you to that thought.
Okay, I felt I am concerned about it, and I was asked about whether there was any basis for it, and I believe there is a basis for my concern, but I'm not going to discuss the basis.
Mm-hmm. He's saying he's concerned about it, and he wants to look into it. That's what he's saying. He's saying he's concerned about it and wants to look into it. Why don't the Democrats want him to look at? Now they're smearing him. Oh, conspiracy, sellout, Trump hack. This guy was former Attorney General under George H.W. Bush. comes out of retirement, doesn't need this, does the job. People praise him as a lawyer's lawyer because he is. But now he's a conspiracy nut. And the media are calling him such by giving voice to the real conspiracy nuts, on collusion. Ooh, collusion. We insist there must be. Confess there's collusion. No. Yes. Okay. We're going to look at Hillary Clinton. No. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Well, now he's under attack. Now, another thing that Lindsey Graham brought up during the course of this hearing today, why wasn't President Trump told about the Russians trying to interfere with the election? Now, we all know the answer why, because they were trying to take down, that is, the Obama administration, Donald Trump. You see, the Russians were not only interfering with the election, the Obama administration was interfering with the election, a point I continue to make. And that's the point. The FBI was interfering with the election, the intelligence agencies, the Department of Justice, the Democrats, Obama. They were interfering with the course of the election. Cut 9, go.
Do you share my concern that if you're going to open up a counterintelligence investigation against a presidential candidate, that you have to have a very good reason?
Yes, absolutely.
And a counterintelligence investigation is designed to protect the target of foreign influence. Is that correct?
That is correct.
It's not a prosecutorial function, is it?
No, unless espionage or some violation of espionage laws develops.
So would it be odd that the candidate was never really briefed by the Department of Justice that your campaign may be targeted by a foreign entity?
That is one of the questions I have. I feel normally the campaign would have been advised of this.
Okay. And can you think of a good reason right now why they wouldn't have been?
I'm interested in getting that answer. They had two former U.S. attorneys in Chris Christie and Rudy Giuliani involved in the campaign, and I don't understand why the campaign was not advised.
Apparently, when Senator Feinstein had a person on her staff that was supposedly connected to the Chinese government, she was briefed. Is that the normal way you do things with a counterintelligence investigation?
I think...
Well, she was briefed about a staff member that they thought might be connected to the Chinese government, and she took action and fired the guy. Is that sort of what you're supposed to be doing?
That's what I would, if I were Attorney General and that situation came up, I would say, yes, brief the target of the foreign espionage.
Now, Senator Mark Warner, who's turned out to be a real hack, but always was, really, he's approached by CNN, Manu Raju, who's another jerk, another phony reporter. So they're looking for politicians who are going to dump all over Barr to try and ruin Barr now. 2-3 days ago, he was a great man. Today, he's a hack. He's a cover-up artist. I'm telling you, folks, we're up against it here. This Soviet-style left. They're dripping with tyrannical tactics here. So Manu Raju throws a softball to the rabid Mark Warner at CNN. Cut 10, go.
The Attorney General said this morning that he believes spying did occur on the Trump campaign. What's your reaction to that?
What's your reaction to that? Rather than, are you going to try to get to the bottom of this? No, what's your reaction to that, Senator? And he knows who he's talking to. He's talking to a buffoon, a rabid leftist. And here goes. Go ahead.
That the Attorney General would make that kind of statement. I think it is in many ways disrespectful to the men and women who work in the Justice Department.
No, it isn't, you ass. He's not talking about the men and women who work at the Department of Justice or FBI. We know exactly what he's talking about a dozen of them. About a dozen of them. Why don't you cut out your propaganda, you fool? You're a United States Senator. Does it concern you that the FBI and the Department of Justice and our intelligence agencies working under Barack Obama interfered with our election? Does it concern you at all? No, it doesn't, apparently. Go ahead.
It shows, I think, either a lack of understanding or willful ignorance.
So here's an attorney general, a brilliant, brilliant man, twice attorney general, top lawyer, who must be filled with ignorance, ladies and gentlemen, or a lack of understanding. But Mark Warner, who can barely complete a sentence, he knows the truth, you see. Go ahead.
What goes into a counterintelligence investigation? The idea that the FBI, with the evidence they had, wouldn't have launched a counterintelligence investigation would have been irresponsible. So
no, it wouldn't. Wouldn't be at all. Using information from the Hillary Clinton and DNC funded dossier would have been irresponsible. Let's go to Chris Van Hollen, another hack out of Maryland. He's on CNN today. See, they're bringing the conga line of left-wing Democrats through. Because this is how the free press, so to speak, works today. That way, even if their host doesn't say anything, even if their reporters don't say anything, they don't need to. They know who to ask and who to put on camera. And here they're bringing Chris Van Hollen, one of the biggest hacks of them all, but they're all big hacks. And they want to know, CNN, what does he think about this? So now they trash Barr. Not the substance of what Barr said. How dare he look into whether or not there was spying going on, or the extent of it, we should say. Cut 11, go.
Look, Jay, I do not know all the details here. What I know
he doesn't
is
know
that
all the details, but he knows to attack Barr. Go ahead.
You know, threw out this bombshell and at the same time refused to present any evidence of it. That is, in my view, reckless and clearly political, especially given the fact the president has been urging him to do this and now is celebrating the fact that he did.
There you go, folks. There you go. I presented the evidence that existed in the public press. And the public press attacked me for citing the public press. Barr should just continue to plow ahead. He's dealing with a Democrat Party that is not the old Democrat Party, that has some of the nasty habits of the old Soviet Union. We want the whole report, the secret grand jury information, the classified information. We don't care if third parties are embarrassed or smeared. We want that too. We want everything. And what we want, we get. And if we don't get it, there's a cover-up. You're a sellout. You're obstructing. You're a hack. Oh. Barr says, you know, I think there's some, there's information here that suggests spying or, espionage activity taking place. I want to get to the bottom of it. I'm going to look into. Oh, my God! A sellout! He's doing Trump's bidding. Look at this guy. He's now a right-wing conspiracy nut. Look at this. Well, there's no collusion. What are you talking about? There's collusion everywhere. I see it everywhere. Look behind you. Collusion. Oh, there's collusion. Look under the sheets. Collusion everywhere. We're going to do our best, ladies and gentlemen, not only to continue to expose these things, but to fight back. And I swear to you, I have no power, but I have a voice. I will do everything humanly possible to continue to press this fight. Not as a mere observer, like far too many of my colleagues in this business, but as somebody who cares about this country. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin.